Hey, it's Joe Amoia, founder and creator of GPSforlove.com. You ever started dating someone or been in the beginning stage of a relationship and there was something about your past, something about you that you were unsure of, that you were insecure about, and you were afraid to talk about it or bring it up because you're afraid that the guy wouldn't accept it and he would ultimately leave? Well, if so, I've got a great video for you. I recently received an email from JoJo, one of the members of our GPS for Love community, and JoJo had a really estranged relationship with her dad. Okay, there was a lot of emotional abuse there. Dad just really wasn't a nice guy. And what happened is she doesn't have a relationship with him anymore. And she asked me, how does that affect the guy? What does the guy think? And what I wanted to do is create a video, not just for JoJo, but for you as well, to talk about not just her relationship with her dad, but your past. Because that's the real issue here is, how do I talk about my past in a way that doesn't scare away a guy? And so let's start off with this first basic premise. And that's it. We all have past. Okay. If you've been on this earth for more than 2 days, you have a past. Okay. So we've all got stuff that we're not proud of. We're not embarrassed. We're embarrassed of. We've done things that, we don't want to be known. We have relationships with people that we don't want others to know about because we think we're going to be judged. So first and foremost, let's start off with that, is that every one of us has a past. And yes, some people have more skeletons in their closet than others. I'm not denying that. But we've all done things that we're ashamed of and that we're not proud of. Now, the second thing is I want you to realize is that if a guy judges you for your past, well, then he's simply the wrong guy. Any guy who isn't going to love and accept you in spite of your past is simply not the guy you want to spend your life with. And it really is that simple. Now, let me preface this by saying is that what a man looks for is he wants to make sure that your past doesn't affect his future. So what do I mean by that? Again, we've all got past. But if your past causes you to have trust issues, it causes you to feel insecure, it causes you to feel jealous, it took a toll on your confidence and your self-worth and self-esteem, and you constantly need reassurance and you're emotionally draining to a guy, well, that guy's not going to want to commit to you, and you can understand that. So when I say that a guy doesn't want your past to affect his future, that's what I mean. It's because think of it like this. If a guy's going to spend the rest of his life with you, he wants to spend his time with you today and building a life going forward, building a future. And if your past, your issues are affecting that, well, then, he's going to have trouble. So one thing I want you to do is if you do have a past that's haunting you, there's some stuff there. It causes you to have trust issues. It causes you to feel insecure, needy. Your self-worth and self-esteem and confidence is at an all-time low, or it's taking a huge hit. Well, before you get into a relationship, do yourself a favor. Go and do your work. Okay? Face those skeletons and just deal with them. And what you see is it's really not a big deal because you're a human being. We've all got stuff that we've had to deal with, that we've had to work on. And the people who go on and have happy and successful relationships are the ones who've embraced their past, who've looked at it head on, and who have dealt with it so that they're emotionally available to move on. And that's one of the reasons why many relationships fail, is because it takes two people. And both people need to have done their work. They need to be complete with their past. So that's ultimately what a guy is looking for, is not that you don't have a past, is that you're complete with your past. There's no emotional juice there left, and it's not going to affect his ability to have a relationship with you, or more importantly, your ability to have a relationship with him. So if you're not okay with your past, then my suggestion is, again, go do that work. Now, what I want you to realize is that if you are okay with your past, there is no magic time to talk about your past. You could talk about it in day one. In fact, when I got back into the dating world, I had done my work. And so I could talk about all my ex relationships. I can talk about why things didn't work out with my ex, but I didn't emotionally live there. It was just like a part of my life. It was like a chapter, like, oh yeah, this happened. It really sucked. I learned from it. I moved on, and now I'm ready to go forward. And so that's what I mean, having closure, is being complete with your past, is where it's not like, oh, I can't believe that SOB and how they screwed me over, and, I'll never trust again, and all guys suck, and, my dad didn't love me the way I wanted, and so I'm unlovable, blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm talking about, okay? When you are complete with your past, it's just a chapter of your life. You've accepted it, and you're ready to move on. Now, if you're at that point, you can talk about your past at any time. Now, if you're not, if there's still some juice there, you haven't done your work, there's still some stuff that you're holding on to, my recommendation is don't talk about it right away. Okay? Get to know a guy and make him earn the right for you to open up and be vulnerable. Make him earn the right for you to trust him enough where you can open up your heart and share with him. And if at that point, what you'll notice is by that point he's already gone. Excuse me, I got a little cold here. So, but that's my dedication to you. I'm going to do this video no matter what. So, what you'll notice by that time, very often the guy will already have disappeared. Okay, you realize he wasn't the one for you. He realized you weren't the one for him. And so you don't have to open up and share this vulnerable part of your life. So that'll kind of play itself out. And secondly, by that point, as time goes by, he should see enough of you to realize how awesome you are. And he should earn the right for you to be vulnerable and share with him. And then at that point, if you do, he'll either say, you know what, I get that. I see it. It's not a big deal. I see how awesome you are. We've all got past, because he's a man. Or you're going to realize that he's a boy. And he's going to go, I can't deal with this. It's your issue, blah, 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 blah. And then ultimately, he's going to run. Or he's going to show you that he's not the guy for you. So ultimately, it's always going to play out. You're always going to get to the truth. But you want to do it in a smarter, safer way. And so my recommendations, first and foremost, is if you've got some stuff there, do your work. It'll not only make your life better, but it'll make it easier to attract and keep a man when he comes along. And if you don't do your work, just realize the game just becomes a lot more difficult. And it really doesn't have to be. So I'd love to hear from you. Is there something that you're struggling with, kind of like JoJo, that you're afraid to bring up? Is it just because you don't know how to bring it up? Or is it because you haven't done your work yet and you don't know how to do your work? So go ahead, put your question, comments, and feedback in the box below. I'll see you next time. As always, an honor and privilege to be with you. And I apologize for, the nasalness and the cough. But, sometimes you get run down. It's just how it is. I'll see you next time. Much love.